Hello, everyone. Well, let's go ahead. Mike, if you'll lead us in the mandala, please.
Good morning. Sashi Poki Jukching Me Tok Drum Rirab Lingshi Ninde Genpadi Sange Shingdu Mikte Uwargi Jokun Namdak Shingla Drupar Shok Idam Guru Ratnamandalatam Niryatayami.
I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, compassion, knowledge, and strength, the Dharma, the enlightened side of truth, and the song of the community of realized beings. From the virtuous merit I create from the practice of giving with the understanding of emptiness, moral discipline with the understanding of emptiness, patience with the understanding of emptiness, joyous effort with the understanding of emptiness, concentration and wisdom, may I attain the state of a Buddha for the benefit of all living beings. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, compassion, knowledge, and strength, the Dharma, the enlightened side of truth, and the song of the community of realized beings. From the virtuous merit I create from the practice of giving with the understanding of emptiness, moral discipline with the understanding of emptiness, patience with the understanding of emptiness, joyous effort with the understanding of emptiness, concentration and wisdom, may I attain the state of a Buddha for the benefit of all living beings. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, compassion, knowledge, and strength, the Dharma, the enlightened side of truth, and the song of the community of realized beings. From the virtuous merit I create from the practice of giving with the understanding of emptiness, moral discipline with the understanding of emptiness, patience with the understanding of emptiness, joyous effort with the understanding of emptiness, concentration, wisdom, I will attain the state of a Buddha for the benefit of all living beings. Okay, well, this looks like a pretty small class today. Let's start with rejoicing. We'll start with Svetlana. What do you have to rejoice in today?
Hello, the Venerable Sumati. Hello, everyone. Today, I'd like to rejoice, like in my colleagues, in our friendly relationships, in supporting each other. Yes, and I understand that that is my seeds ripening. That I have created such a community, and I dedicated that everyone can live in a peaceful and supporting environment.
Excellent. Well, I'm glad to hear things. This is work or your sangha or what?
Yes, work.
Really? Well, that's great. Excellent. I know there's been some drama there, so that's very good. Very nice to hear. Okay, Daria, you're up next. Congratulations on your presentation.
Thank you so much. um, I read today. Oh, good morning, very well. Lama Sumati, I'm sorry. I rejoice today. I could help some girl, a little girl. She has a big problem with her health, and she can't speak. She can't move because she have problem with her legs and but she very happy when she's mother said me when she saw me. This girl was very happy. I don't know why, but and I rejoice because I can help some people.
Very good. Well, you brought the young lady joy. That's our mission, is to bring them happiness. So very good. Okay. Anna, what do you have to rejoice in?
Hello, dear Venerable Sumati. Can you hear me in English
Yes,
channel?
Yes.
Yes, perfect. I want to rejoice about my day today. It was pretty busy and it will be pretty busy. It's not the end of my day right now, but in any way, I found time to go for a walk. And we have winter. It's already dark, gray sky, not pleasant. Nature around, but anyway, I just went and go for a walk like 30 minutes, I think. So I think that it's also like one point to keep the third principle to keep health, to keep life. Thank you.
Okay. Well, it's cold here, but that's knowing what times. It's 61 degrees here, so that's cold. Let's see, what's 61 in Fahrenheit and the centigrade? 61 in centigrade is about 18°C here, so that's cold for us. Okay, Mike.
Good morning. I just got back. I was in Vegas with my friends for the Halloween, or what, for Thanksgiving. What am I talking about? Halloween for Thanksgiving. And I didn't dress up in any costumes. Um, so I had a great weekend, and I just wanted to rejoice that they were like really interested in like what I'm doing and like about like the kind of like the new transition I've made with my life, and they were asking a lot of questions, and I was able to like slip some dharma in, just like real quietly, and like talk about a little bit about like the freedom vows, and and we were at lunch this one day, and my friend said like, "Oh, Buddhism, like, doesn't that mean like you're nonviolent? Like you don't harm living beings?" And so that gave me like an open door to kind of go into the first three vows. And then I mentioned my personal favorites are eight and nine. The no like be happy for people that get good things even if you don't like them. And empathize with people that have bad things happening to them, even if you don't like them. And the one guy was like so like shocked by that, and he's like, "Oh my God, I do that all the time." And uh, and then the next day we were at dinner, and they brought up the vows again. So they were like obviously like thinking about them in the
Yeah.
meantime. So I just wanted to
Wow.
rejoice over that.
Wow. Very nice. Very nice. That's really cool. And on Thanksgiving too. So excellent. Okay. Ekaterina, what do you have to rejoice in?
Hello, dear Lama Sumati.
Hello.
Translation. Спасибо.
Hello, dear Venerable Sumati and everyone. I want to rejoice that I had seeds for support, and I was ill, and my family supported me. And yesterday there was a Mother Day, and they prepared for me some presents and a dinner. And I am also glad that we have class today. Thank you.
What do they prepare you for dinner?
Они приготовили
They prepare
праздничный салат, как греческий салат.
fast salad like Greek salad,
Oh,
and also potato. It was very pleasant for me.
very good. That sounds like something we eat on every day. So good. Yeah, Greek salad, yum, and potatoes. You can't go wrong with potatoes. Okay, Vilda, what do you have to rejoice in? Don't hear you. There
Okay.
you go. Okay.
Always takes me time. Good day, everybody. Good day, Venerable Sumati, and all my fellow practitioners, students. Hi, everybody. Good to see you. When Silvana spoke, I was thinking, oh, gee, that I have a very similar rejoicing about where I'm at and how I feel like I'm taking baby steps and keeping on those baby steps, and my seeds are ripening for me to keep steady on my practice and studying. And I'm so grateful that I joined Mike's group for what do you call that, study group. I've never joined a study group, and I was so happy to join that study group because it helps keep me focused and steadfast again. And then I heard Mike talking, and then I said, "Oh yeah, me too." I have a washing machine in my house, and but I don't have a dryer, so I have to go to the dryer. And I usually go on Saturdays, and I usually meet there the lady that takes care of the facility. She cleans and she does small talk, and she talks to. She's very friendly, and slowly I want to get to know her better, and I want to just not just hi and bye, that kind of thing. I like to meet people better and get to know them better. And so this past Saturday when I was there, I was pleasantly surprised that we were talking about good acts. How the act of being kind and the act of taking care of others. And she has near here, which this is a village. She has like a small farm, and she takes care of animals and everything. And she told me that, well, she doesn't side so much with Christianity as she does with Buddhism. She says she's not a Buddhist, but she tends to think more the way she hears about Buddhism. And then we start to talk about Buddhism, and I start to talk about uh, the three moralities, and I start to talk about certain Dharma, and she was totally on board with everything and was agreeing and said that's how she lives her life. And I was pleasantly pleased that I had a kindred spirit in someone I didn't know at all, and I just knew casually, and now we have slowly started to form a greater bond. And I felt that this created even a more bond. And it may not go anywhere, it may just stay the way it is, but it made me feel I was happy, I was joyful, I rejoiced at the fact that there is another being that wants to be kind and wants to be generous and wants to be helpful. And this is great. We don't have to be called Buddhists. You don't have to be called anything. It's just that's the nature that we want to manifest in our lives. So I was very, very grateful for all these things that's happening in my life. Thank you.
Great. Very good. Well, you all sound like things are progressing pretty well. What do I have to rejoice in? Oh, we're going to do a White Tara permission in June. 2 consecutive weekends. Several students have asked for it, so Ale has agreed to come down and help set it up because that's quite a bunch of work. So it's going to be the Jainong will be the let me see. The empowerment will be the weekend, the Friday the 12th, Saturday and Sunday. And then the next weekend, we'll go over the Advices Compendium, the 19th, 20th, and 21st. So just to let you know. And I'm going to start teaching the review courses. Course, 15, 16, 17, 18. I'm going to start teaching 16, probably on January. January 20th, we'll probably start the course 16, 17, and 18. So if you want to join that, it'll be at the same well, for right now, it looks like it'll be at the same time. The Russian students that asked for the teaching haven't gotten back to me yet as to whether that's a good time. But that's about the only time I can do it. So hopefully we'll be able to work something out. So what else? No, that's about it. We had a memorization task. I can see that most people aren't here because they had to memorize something. Mike looks like he's one of them. You're supposed to memorize the 7-limb prayer. So who wants to go first?
The preliminaries?
Yeah.
The cat's being. I can go first.
Okay.
With my body, speech, and mind, humbly I prostrate. I make offerings both set out and imagine. I confess all wrong deeds. I've confessed my wrong deeds from all time. I rejoice in the virtues of all. Please stay until samsara ends and turn the wheel of the Dharma. I dedicate all virtues to the great enlightenment.
Very good. Okay. Svetlana.
With my body, with my body, speech, and mind, humbly I prostrate. I make offerings both set out and imagined. I confess in all my wrong deeds from all times. I rejoice in the virtues of all. Please stay until samsara ceases and turn the wheel of the Dharma for us. I dedicate all the virtues to the great enlightenment.
Excellent. Daria.
Okay, I tried. With my body, speech, and mind, humble I am prostrate. I make offering set out and imagine. They confess wrong wrong deeds from all time. I rejoice in the virtue of all. Please stay until samsara cease and turn of the wheel of dharma for us. I dedicate all virtues, the great compassion.
Very good. So far we're hitting 100. Okay, Vilda, you're up.
Okay, I can do 7, but I remember I thought we were also going to do scab, the 4 virtues.
Yes, we
Okay,
are.
so I confess with body, mind. I prostrate with my body and mind to all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in all corners of the world and the universes. I offer both actual and visualized imagined offerings. I confess all the misdeeds I have done in all times. I rejoice for the virtuous deeds that have been done by all. I ask that you stay until end of until all samsara ceases. I ask that you stay and turn the wheel of karma, of dharma, and I dedicate this all for the total enlightenment of all sentient beings.
Okay, very good. That leaves Katrina.
Своим телом, речью и умом я смиренно растираюсь. Я совершаю подношение, как я.
With my body, speech, and mind, humbly I prostrate. I make offerings both set out and imagined, and confess my wrong deeds from all time, and rejoice in the virtue of all. Please stay until samsara cease, and turn the wheel of dharma for us. I dedicate all virtue to the great enlightenment.
Very good. Okay, now the four virtues. Let's go with Avilda. What are the four?
The four virtues is not to when someone scolds you, not to answer with another scolding or yelling. When someone criticizes me, not to answer it with another criticism. When someone is angry at me or shows anger towards me, not to answer it with another angry or anger. And when someone hits me or or beats me, not to answer that back with more hitting or beating.
Very good. Okay, let's go with Mike.
Oh, I forget the C. Not responding to scolding with scolding, not responding to anger with anger, not responding to beating with beating, and
Criticism.
criticism. That's probably the one I have to work on, especially of myself. Not responding to criticism with criticism.
There you go. Okay, Katrina.
Не отвечать бранью на брань, не критиковать в ответ, не отвечать гневом
Not
на гнев.
criticize, not be angry, not hit, and not use swear words if somebody argue with you.
Well, that's an interesting interpretation with scolding, but I'll take it. Okay, Daria.
Not responding to scolding with a scolding, not responding with as criticize with to criticize with criticize, not responding to angry with anger, not responding with beaten with a beaten.
Very good. Okay, Svetlana, you're up last.
Not responding to scolding with scolding. Not responding to criticism with another criticism, and not responding to anger with another anger, and not responding to beating with another beating.
Very good. Basically, it's don't respond. If someone approaches you negatively, don't respond with a negative response. That's basically what that comes down to. So very good. Well, I'll have to come up with another memorization task today. Okay, well, let's go ahead and get started in class. You should all see the slide on your screen, I hope. Okay, so Guide to Bodhisattva's Way of Life, Part 1, Class 8, How to Fight Mental Afflictions, Part 2. So, everybody's favorite part, review questions, yay! 4 ways that mental afflictions can harm us. Well, I'll give you one of them. They leave us powerless.
Yeah, it is perpetuated. It's like indefinite period of time.
I'll just give all 4. Send us to unthinkable suffering. Time they can turn us as infinite, right, Svetlana? And how wrong it is to make friends with them. Okay. What are the 6 primary mental afflictions? You know 3 of them right off the bat.
Okay, I'd like to say them.
Okay.
Aversion. Ignorant liking, ignorant disliking, ignorance itself,
Yeah.
wrong view, pride, and I always forget this one, but I remember this time, lazy doubt.
Oh, I usually think of it as so ignorant, disliking, pride, misunderstanding where someone's good qualities come from.
Yeah.
Ignorance of karma and past and future lives, and lazy
Doubt.
doubt.
Yeah.
There you go. Now there's another one where anger comes in. The combinations are quite fluid. But, okay. So what's each of you, if you feel like saying, you don't have to, what's your worst mental affliction? The one that just comes up all the time and you're constantly fighting. Daria, do you have one?
I have a lot of. For example, today I am irritated for some people because I forgot about pen, about emptiness, and this people is me. I forgot, and but I think I stopped with this.
Good. Okay. Vilda. Can't hear you. Still can't hear you.
There
There
we
we
go.
go.
Okay, so I actually I really pondered and meditated on it a lot, and a lot came from me, and wanting to make it what do you call it? Not so long, because it really was a lot came from me. My laziness, my impatience, with myself, my impatience with the world outside of me, and my lazy doubt. You know that then that comes from my own impatience. And the realization that this impatience is bigger than what just the word impatient. It's really about fear, and everything is fear. You either have fear or you have love, and where there is fear, there can't be love, and where there's love, there can't be fear. So what am I so afraid of that I have to be so impatient? And I really pondered on my impatience, and it's a big one, and it's one I've been working on for a while. And because you gave it to us as homework, I really, really dove into it and got deeper and got more of an understanding of my fear. My fears that come out as my anxieties, that I can't do my tests and quizzes, and my fears of doing wrong or not being good enough, and that all comes down to who do I show myself up as? who do I want to be seen as? And that's an ego trip, and the fear of losing that persona, having a persona that I have to defend and I have to show up for, and so my impatience with myself, because that defense is breaking. It's not, it's can't sustain itself. It's breaking. That persona doesn't exist, and so the fear comes in and the impatience comes in, and I've been really diligently working on this one, and then seeing how I'm impatient with other people and working on taking a breath and taking it back to myself and letting go of my impatience and my irritations, because that's all coming from me, so that I can let go of this persona I'm trying to defend. And so it was a good homework. I thank you very much, because it really made me even go deeper than what I have been going. So
Very good. Very good. Well, that's what I was hoping would happen. So thank you for being so thorough. I don't find you impatient. Okay, Katerina, what is your major mental affliction, if you want to share?
У меня это обида. Я раньше
For me, it's
мама такая
offending,
потом я поняла, что я
because
что я
I
такая,
understand
что
that I always complain to the world, and I had wrong logic when I
так аргументы разложить, почему этот человек не прав.
get offended to somebody, and I had a lot of arguments why this person is wrong, and I can tell a lot that
И потом, когда я встретилась с Дharmой,
that I'm right, but this person is wrong. And when I met Dharma,
я обидчивый человек.
I understand that all my offenses, it's just from me, and now it's much better for me.
Oh, very good. Very good. That's great. I'm glad to see that that's working for you. Okay, Mike, what would you say is your major mental affliction?
I think mine is doubt, like especially like self-doubt and like doubt about my um just like doubt in general, like being uncertain about things or what my direction is, or if I'm doing things right or something like that. I'm always like questioning, like I like question myself, but then every time I question myself and I find out the real situation that's going on, I'm always like wrong for questioning myself. You know, it's like I have doubt that something, I'm like, oh, that's probably not happening. And then I find out that it is happening. And I'm like, well, why was I thinking that it wasn't happening? So I gotta work on that.
Oh, good. Yeah, that's the tricky one. Svetlana.
Yeah, I guess one of my worst mental afflictions is anger, because I tend to create drama even out of nothing. Even when people are trying to be sweet and nice to me, it can irritates me inside of me in some silly ways. And this anger is really feeling intensely in my chest, and it happens from time to time. And yeah, I can get angry out of nothing even. I guess it's like something to work on.
Yeah, yeah. I think one of mine is I haven't learned, how can I put this? Sometimes when someone really annoys me or says something that's hurtful, I just turn around and leave the room. I just turn around and leave the room. And instead of just chilling, let it happen, knowing where it came from. And I often do that because I don't want to reply and dig a deeper hole with whatever the problem was. But I've got to learn to just be able to stand there and let it wash over me and not get mad back. But that's probably, I get a pulse of adrenaline and I just leave the room. And that happened. Oh, the other one, and when I don't do that, is I mutter to myself and complain. So there's one instance with my lovely wife where she made a comment and left the room, and I made comments back to her, but in my mind, not verbally. And so I was telling myself, I'm not getting angry. I'm not getting angry. Yet I was saying stuff under my breath that was definitely anger. So I've got to deal with that because I was setting seeds I didn't want to set. And these are trivial things I get angry about. It's putting the dishes away properly or on time or to her satisfaction. And I know the dish rack has to be empty. I don't need to be reminded that it's okay if I empty the dish rack. So if in the bigger picture of things, that's probably not a huge one. But if I respond to anger at all, even a little bit of anger is setting the seed. So I've got to do better with that. I even told myself that and I kept muttering. So I need to do better. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the 20 secondary mental afflictions. Anger, that's pretty straightforward. First few minutes of anger that comes from ignorant disliking can end up hurting someone, including yourself. The physical, verbal response, willingness to harm. So in my example, verbal or nonverbal response. Physical response is, I've only been in one fight in my life. I don't tend to even, I can't remember when I wanted to hit somebody. That doesn't, which is good, I guess. Willingness to harm, retaining anger, harbor anger over a long period, a grudge, it makes you, it colors your world, I think. It makes, if you hold a grudge, you're going through the day thinking ill of whoever made you mad. And that's just perpetuating, setting the seeds. Irritation. Irritation can lead to anger or sarcastic comments. And again, it's a way to set seeds to have someone be irritating in your life. I don't tend to, I think irritation's like rubbing salt in a wound. You can be irritating to someone and make things worse. This is what they call pre-anger, starting to get annoyed, which leads up to saying something harsh. Malice, thinking ill of someone, thinking ill of something, thinking something bad to happen to somebody. I would like President Trump to not be president anymore. And one could argue that's ill will or malice. I try not to think in that context, but it's hard with just that particular object. willingness to hurt someone physically or verbally. My wife and I try to, if we're going to criticize someone, we try and come up with a way they could approach what they're doing without causing us to be critical. Where was an example? We were talking about that last night at dinner. Something President Trump had done that could have a good outcome. Boy, what was it? I should have written that down. No, I can't think of it now. But it was a good example of what I'm talking about. Instead of thinking ill of him, trying to think how what he did could actually turn out to be good. Jealousy, actually defined as a part of anger, since it's jealousy, the desire to gain or be admired that you cannot bear for someone else to get the attention. Yes, in Lama Christie, I've said this, I think, a few times, that at Diamond Mountain University would often thank somebody for something I'd done, and they'd be looking at me as they did it to see if I'd get angry. Wasn't aware that that was a problem, but they must have seen it in me. I try to thank people, the right person, for what they've done instead of just making a blanket thanks. This is totally hypocritical for a Bodhisattva who is sworn to give others what they want. It's common and quite dangerous at Dharma centers as students seem to vie for attention. That's something I've never really had to fight. We always, at Diamond Mountain, we always made sure others had a chance to talk with Geshe Michael and Lama Christie. We didn't shun them, but we didn't try and step in the front of the line. And I think it's interesting to see the students that do. When you see Geshe Michael at an event, there will be a certain set of students that are close to him or want to be close to him. And so rather than say, well, I can be up there, because I mean, we used to have them over for dinner often. I certainly know him pretty well, but I don't want to go up and have someone put me into front of the line to see him. I'm perfectly happy to wait my turn. Geshe Michael refers to as demons in our minds that can't stand all the virtue being done and try to pit members against each other. If you find yourself being jealous or thinking ill of a fellow Sangha member, really try hard to dispel that and catch yourself before you do it, because that's a pretty powerful karma that sets up the divisiveness that can tear apart Dharma centers. Insincerity, that's an interesting mental affliction. So if you're sincere about something, you're sincere about, well, what's a good example? Insincerity. Well, that's when you say something you don't really mean it. It's not a lie as much as it's an implication. What would be good and sincere? Well, Only ones I can think of have to do with President Trump, and I'm trying not to do that. Not admitting faults, most especially in yourself. This blocks ability to receive knowledge because we really do not think it applies to us. We don't need to be corrected or learn something new. That's interesting because I find myself saying something like, well, that doesn't apply to me. They mean everybody else, but not me. There's a speed limit on the streets in our neighborhood, and no one goes the speed in golf carts. They go turn around. It's a 15-mile-an-hour speed limit. So I think they should all the golf carts should have governors on them, and you can't go faster than 15 miles an hour. But that's an overreaction because there might be an instance where you do need to go over 15 miles an hour and all of a sudden you can't. But for me to complain about, even to myself, means that when I'm driving, which I don't do anymore, so this is kind of a moot point, I have to be sure that I'm not going over 15 miles an hour. It's easy to do when you're using a walker to not go over 15 miles an hour. So I don't really have to worry about that anymore. Pretense. Putting on airs, pretending to have some good qualities in order for others to honor you. This was a story about a practitioner whose altar was normally a big mess, but he cleaned it up because a sponsor was coming. Before the sponsor came, the practitioner realized his hypocrisy and threw dust all over the altar. That's a fairly famous story that's used in this context. Shamelessness. Shame is holding yourself back from doing something out of your own self-conscious, not because others know about it. Inconsideration. Not restraining from doing a non-virtue because of how others would react. Willing to do something that would cause others to see you do it and lose faith. I tried very hard at Diamond Mountain. If I was going to complain or try and make a point, and there's a rule like the shoes rule, I had to be careful to make sure it applied to everybody. It would be easy to let friends get away with not putting their shoes up or not make a point of it. And it seems really trivial, but we had a young lady break her ankle tripping over some shoes, and they didn't need to be there. They should have been on the shelf. But I made sure that everybody, even Geshe Michael's attendants, realized that, yeah, there were Geshe Michael's attendants, but that didn't mean they didn't need to put their shoes where they belonged. And that was easy for me to do, but a lot of the attendants didn't appreciate that I wasn't treating them as special. And I did. Every time a kosha says at least one of these last two are present anytime you do a non-virtue. You don't have spiritual self-esteem or concern for others. Hiding your faults. Karma grows, so hiding it doesn't stop it. So my muttering about needing to put the dishes away isn't karma, movement of the mind. So I must admit I did have a little bit of fun with that yesterday. Hiding your faults. Stingy, being stingy. I tend to I sometimes am perhaps overly generous, but I don't think that's a mental affliction because I don't regret the generosity. That's the thing. When you're going to be, generosity means that if you give that to somebody, it's like the watch that I know a friend of mine at the Marshall Space Flight Center. Actually, it's the museum at the Marshall Space Flight Center. He'd really like a watch I have, and I'd really like him to have it, but I still look at that watch and treasure having that watch, even though I don't wear it and it's stuck in a drawer. And until I can actually give him that watch without any regret, I'd be thinking about how I wish I still had it. And that's, once you give something, you got to give it and let it go. Conceited, stuck up about your own good qualities that are ironically at best short term without a lot of work. I think it's easy to confuse conceit with arrogance. I think a lot of people, when they first came to Diamond Mountain, would probably have seen me as a fairly arrogant person because I was in charge of the parking and I was in charge of the operation. So who is this guy to be in charge of this stuff? Nobody asked me, why is he in charge? And I tried very hard to be subtle about it. If people needed to know something, I'd tell them, but I wasn't going around with a t-shirt that said or a hat that said I'm in charge. I tell you, if you're going to be in charge of someone, it helps to be 6'3". That makes it much easier. Lack of faith, lack of admiration towards sentient beings. Since you don't know who's seen emptiness directly, you don't know the spiritual level someone's at. They could be shining you on by pretending to be a Hinayana practitioner and really be a very advanced Bodhisattva Mahayana practitioner. Laziness. I try very hard now. For instance, we have a fiber optic Christmas tree, it's pretty cool at night. During the day, it looks terrible. You can't hide fiber optics and make them look very fancy, but at night, it's really quite stunning. So I had forgotten that we were going to put the tree up, or I hadn't forgotten. I didn't know when we were going to do it. So my wife asked, when are we going to put the tree up? And I said, well, I'll do it right now. It was like 7 o'clock. She goes, it's too dark and cold. I said, well, that's not a problem. You don't have to go out. And she goes, I'll have to go out and clean up after you. And I thought to myself, what does that mean? There's nothing to clean up. It's a fiber optic Christmas tree. So I said, well, I'd like to go. And she said, no, don't go out. Okay. So the next morning, yesterday morning, before she came out for breakfast, I put the tree up and got it connected and lit up. And so I wasn't lazy about it. So the point I'm trying to make is now when I need to do something or someone needs to do something and I need to do something for somebody, I try very hard to get it done. If someone asks me for Dharma information, I will go look it up as almost instantaneously because I want that kind of a response. I hope for that kind of response when I ask a Dharma question. So the surest way to have that happen is to answer questions, whether they be Dharma or not, right away. And the surest way to not get the answers quickly is to be lazy and not do what someone asked you to do. Spiritual laziness, lack of joy in doing good things. Not quite sure how that comes into laziness, but I think I find joy in pretty much everything I do. So this isn't one I'm faced with. Carelessness. I don't fight my being careless. I'm constantly aware, try to constantly be aware of how something could not work the way somebody wants it to. How does that fit in with carelessness? Well, no. My wife has a rule that I don't leave a particular knife in with the dishes in the sink. And I've often thought that was kind of dumb because it's a big knife and you can't miss it. It's not like she's going to cut herself because she can't find the knife. But every time I start to put it in the sink, I go, nope, I've been told that's not where that goes. So instead of being careless and putting it in the sink saying, who cares, I catch myself and put it where she can see it. The other one for me was my having anti-clotting medication is opening a package by pulling a knife or a sharp object toward me instead of away from me. And every time I start to open something from Amazon or whatever company sent me something in a container, a box, I take the knife and I just say to myself, cut away, cut the tape away from you. Sometimes I get started coming towards me and I just have to catch myself and say, no, what part of stupid don't you understand? Carelessness in spiritual life would be alcohol and drugs can bring us on losing your inhibitions toward harmful acts. Forgetfulness, losing focus, forgetting commitments you have made, like in four powers, determining restraint, and a day later forgetting and redoing the bad deed. That would also be under carelessness. Losing watchfulness, not watching oneself constantly to catch your wrong behavior, stopping in mid-sentence when saying a harmful thing would be to have watchfulness. You try that. Try that for the between now and next class. See if you can stop yourself in mid-sentence when you're saying something that's not quite right. We try very hard to do that when we're criticizing President Trump. We stop and try and catch ourselves before we complete the sentence. So give that a try. I think you'll be surprised how often you let things slide in conversation. Fog or dullness. Don't have the desire to care for yourself properly. And then other afflictions can arise very quickly. I get that sometimes with my Parkinson's. Distraction. Distraction would be doing things ignorantly, scattering, unable to keep mind focused on a single object, result of too much going on. I can multitask reasonably well and function responsibly. But that means putting things into perspective, prioritizing what you're multitasking, and then finish. Multitasking with multiple tasks not complete is a failure in multitasking. It's not juggling, seeing how many balls you can juggle. It's seeing how many projects you can juggle and get done efficiently. And if you can't, being able to do more than one thing at a time is for some people a gift and something to be admired. And for some people it's a curse because they can't get anything done. They're so busy trying to do things for other people. So when I ask a student to do something for me, I try very hard to check and make sure that, and if I ask one of you to do something for me and then I say, do you have time to do this? All I expect is an honest answer. If you don't have time, tell me. But if you say I'll do it and then you don't do it, well, that's not the kind of karma I'd want to set. Now, if it's something I really want you to do, I may say something like, well, find the time. But that's pretty rare. So progression on the path leads to a multifaceted ability to focus on huge on a huge network of virtue, like the thousand-armed Chenrezig, single-pointedly. You'll get to the point where you can learn to focus on all the aspects of doing virtue and put it in perspective in your practice. It's hard to think of now, but you'll get to the point where you can really be like a thousand-armed Chenrezig, doing things for many people at once. We should hate our mental afflictions and get attached to our efforts to destroy them. So if it's a bad habit, don't just accept it as a bad habit. Work toward breaking. You develop the ability to do the bad habit. Now you need to use the same skills and develop the ability to not do the bad habit. Chapter 3. Whoops, what's going on here? Chapter 3, verse 43. I should therefore never turn back even for a single moment from the task of destroying the mental afflictions. I should get attached to them and learn to hate and make war on them. These kinds of mental afflictions act to destroy the mental afflictions and are not counted among them. So being mad at your mental afflictions is an anger that's okay because it's making you do something virtuous. Gyaltsab argues that you use this hating your mental afflictions and love warring on them, that these are not mental afflictions in and of themselves, because these actions are part of a path of destroying your mental afflictions, not reinforcing them. Can we really get rid of mental afflictions? That's a reasonable question. I hope so, because that's why I took the Bodhisattva vows and have the 6 perfections in my toolkit. Yes, you can get rid of mental afflictions because if you reach nirvana, that's a cessation for all mental afflictions. So it is possible. Master Shanti Deva says to think about this. All mental afflictions come from ignorance and wrong view, all 84,000 of them. If you cut the root of their source, this ignorance of karma and past and future lives, this ignorance of things becomes self-existent. You can totally destroy them. Understanding karma and emptiness is the key. Karma and emptiness is the key. So someone says, wrong, they're stored and will return no matter what you do. Master Shantideva checks this out. Can they be living in outer objects and waiting there for you? An arhat sees colors and shapes and hears sounds, but they've eliminated all their mental afflictions. So the mental afflictions cannot be in outside objects. Do they hide in the sense powers, the eye power, etc.? No. Someone in direct perception of emptiness still has an eyeball and optic nerve, but are unable to have a mental affliction at that time. So no, they don't hide in the sense powers. No place else for them to come from. So how do we do this? How do we stop our mental afflictions? The 6 perfections. Now, one of you should be able to give me the 6 perfections in order. Katrina, you're shaking your head yes. So what are the 6 perfections in order? You have to turn on your microphone. Okay, someone else. Who can give me? Mike, 6 perfections in order.
Giving, moral discipline. Giving, moral discipline, patience, joyful effort, meditative concentration, wisdom.
Right. Why are they called the 6 perfections? Daria, do you remember why they're called the 6 perfections?
Why are they called 6 perfection? Yes, because we think like emptiness, all this perfection. If I right.
Well, that's kind of the answer. How about Svetlana? Why are they called the 6 perfections?
Like Buddha has them as perfections, but we can just practice ourselves in them, so it will lead us to Buddhahood.
Right, but the 6 perfections, one, when you reach Buddhahood, these are done perfectly. These are the ticket to get you to Buddhahood. We can't do the 6 perfections perfectly because we're not enlightened. But by working on trying our best to do the 6 perfections, we will reach the point where we can do them by becoming totally enlightened. Doing these behaviors will get us to perfection, So giving, material protection, love and compassion, the Dharma, moral discipline, refuge commitments to the Pratimoksha vows, to the Bodhisattva vows, to the Tantric vows. We have a large series of vows or commitments we can make that really guide our life pretty much. And what's amazing to me is 2,500 years after these rules were put in place, these vows were put in place, they're still germane. Sure, there's some of the monks and nuns' vows that are kind of silly in terms of modern day technology, but it's amazing how germane they are to the environment at hand. Patience, not getting angry when the time is ripe. Joyful effort. Enjoying doing good things yourself and rejoicing in others' good deeds. Enjoying the fact that you're learning the Dharma and you're learning a way of life that will make for a much better life in the future. Knowing that your past is the present is your future is a huge boon for an individual compared to those that don't think these thoughts and live day to day from a self-existent existence. Concentrations, meditation. Wisdom would be understanding emptiness and how these previous 5 fit into the bigger picture. Now, is the order important? There's so many lists in Buddhist practice, so many lists, and the order is most often is important. So who wants to tackle an example of why the lists are, that's the order they're in? You want to try that, Sadhana? Okay.
Like, first of all, we should be free to share what we have. We don't have stinginess, and we can easily share with others, and it can make us feel easier, make us to take care about others, and leads us to have ethical behavior. So it brings moral discipline, and having ethical behavior, we need not to harm others and any circumstances, so not getting angry, and it leads to patience, and then we are doing all good things, and we need to take joy in all goodness that we are doing. It leads to joyful effort, and with such state of mind of doing good things, we have peaceful mind. It leads to concentration, and then with the trained body and mind, with the ease of concentration, we can reach understanding of emptiness, direct perception of emptiness.
Very good. Very good. So giving, if I have a frame of mind of giving, we're not worried about holding on to something, that it's mine, you can't have it. So if we're willing to give something away, we don't have to worry about doing something wrong to get it. So like Svetlana said, our ethical way of life becomes possible. Then if we have an ethical way of life, we can learn not to be angry because we know where things come from, and we know that being ethical will generate the kind of karma we want. So that allows us to be patient. And if we're patient, we then have time and the frame of mind to have joyful effort because we're not worried about the ethical aspect of it. The joyful effort comes from not having to be worried about any of the previous three. That allows us the ability to sit down and concentrate because these other four aren't in our mind swimming around giving us problems. And then being able to concentrate obviously leads to our goal, which is the direct perception of emptiness. These are the ingredients for the recipe to attain total enlightenment. And it is possible to do this in one lifetime through Tantra. These, therefore, must be our priority, must be an application. So the six perfections are the priority in our attitude and our approach to life. We have to be ready. We have to be willing and joyfully able to put them into practice. And then understand their purpose. By making them a priority, first thing on our mind, by knowing them, the nuances of them well enough, that allows us to have the purpose, to find and have the purpose of the six perfections. And that's what gets us down the road to total enlightenment. So our real career, unlike the one that makes the money that you perceive you need to live in this world, our real career is to perfect these perfections, these behaviors, and reap the state of mind that results. As we get ourselves closer and closer to the direct perception of emptiness, that's going to lead us to allow us to reach nirvana and have the complete end of mental affliction. Is perfecting the perfections reflected in the external perception of the perfections? It's a lot of P's. Lord Buddha has reached the perfection of giving, and we still see plenty of needy people. What we mean by perfection is a state of mind that is totally willing to give up everything you have, your body, your possessions, your goodness and virtue to others in any way that will help them, regardless of outcome, without hesitation. No, not many of us have reached that point financially where we can just give money away without some concern for where it's coming from. But money is one measure of generosity. Generosity of time. Time is very difficult. You can't make more time in the true sense of the word, but you can give of your time, volunteering with various projects at Diamond Mountain, or what is that, Dragon's Head? Is that what they call it? Dragon's Heart or Dragon's Head? Yeah, Dragon's Head. Volunteering time is, in my opinion, volunteering time is perhaps even more valuable than money. And the reason for that is giving the money is you do it and that the gift is done. Whereas when you volunteer your time, you're giving over a period of time and making vast amounts of karma that continue to perpetuate. It doesn't mean don't give money, but if money is a resource you don't have to give freely, then your time is, I think is an equal or more important commodity. I shouldn't say more important, more valuable. But help people regardless of outcome without hesitation, you're going to come across times when you help somebody and they expect it. They don't say anything. And that's when you've got to go, well, you're welcome, and move on. Realizing where it's coming from, you're not having appreciated the help. And it's, for me, someone opens the door, and it's obvious I've got a walker, I can't easily open the door. So it'd be easy to think, well, duh, thanks for opening the door, versus going, thank you. That really helped. I was having trouble. You know how much, I know how much that made me in the past and makes me in the present feel when I can help somebody in that way. It's a little thing. So it does not mean you just sit at home and be willing to give, but not go out and help others. It needs to be expressed in our behavior, pushing yourself beyond your comfort level, but not beyond your ability to do so without regret. That's a tricky one too. At what point, I guess translation would be, for me, was not able to back in the day, to push myself out of my comfort zone and try and learn to be a translator. I came up against an obstacle I just didn't know how to deal with, and that's my knowledge of English grammar. I am incompetent when it comes to grammar. I write books. I write books that people like to read, but I don't understand grammar. So if I don't understand English grammar, I'm not going to understand the various aspects of Tibetan grammar. And the one way I know that I'm not meant to be a translator is, for the life of me, I don't understand why there have to be female and male words. I just do not understand that, which just goes to show why I shouldn't be a translator. Are there female and male words in Russian? Yeah. There's female, male, and neutral. So if you call something that's neutral a male or female, that shows your lack of knowledge of the Russian language.
What there are some words which belong to neutral category.
What's an example of a female, male, and neutral word?
For example, window, it is neutral. Table, it is male, and bed is female.
And what's female?
Bed.
A bed. Oh.
Bed.
So a table's male. Mike, you know more about language than I do. Do we have male and female in English? And I just don't know it.
I don't think so. And unless it's like, you know, I mean, even with names, like you could call someone Ashley and it could be a male, but I don't think we have male and female.
I'm trying to think of, we don't have any, this really shows how stupid I am. What's the what's the as in grammar?
Grammar is not my strong suit either.
So in French, you either say le, le, or la, depending on what sex it is, male or female. And in English, I don't believe I can't think of an example.
I mean, you could describe something as like you could describe something as like girly or like manly.
Yeah, but that's an opinion, not a steadfast entity of the language. Anyway, the fact that I don't like the fact that there are male and female words in other languages just shows how closed-minded I am. But here's an example of going past my comfort level, but not going to the point where I can't function properly or have regret. So that's kind of a trivial example, but so that's all I have. Did I forget already that I gave something? I don't think I gave you anything more to memorize.
No.
Well, let's see what I can come up with. No, I'm kidding. Okay. Well, let's dedicate today's class. May the source of benefit and goodness, the Dharma, spread and expand. May the beings upholding the Dharma have excellent health. May the source of happiness and well-being for all embodied beings, the Dharma taught by the Buddhas, always increase. Through this merit, may I soon attain the enlightened state of Guru Buddha, so that I may be able to liberate all sentient beings from their suffering. Okay. We'll see everybody Thursday. Thank you for coming to class.
Thank you
And
for teaching.
thank you for memorizing, even though it was pretty silly, little trivial stuff. You'll be surprised how much it'll come up. Okay. Bye-bye, everybody.
Thank you
Take
for
care.
teaching.
Love you.
Thank you
Stay
so
safe.
much. Please
Thank
take
you.
it.
It's my intent. Okay.
Спасибо, дорогой Сумати.